There have been multiple criticisms of Hex, RichardHeart, Pulse Chain, Pulse X, but of all of them, there's one that I've just seen right now that I think kind of stands out, and we're going to take a look at it. And we like to take a look at all angles of what's going on in the space. There is no holy topic that we will not cover on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to see all angles of what's going on in the crypto space. Brother, why don't you care about the fact that for 2 years we've been lied to by RichardHeart about network having zero inflation and only sacrifice coins ever minted? Why no one cares about it? Everyone is so aroused by the fact that we have V4, but fact that strongest pulse chain narrative, which was deflationary network with no inflation, is just gone and no one gives a crap. LOL. That flew under the radar completely. Yeah, it's a good point, and it's something that hasn't been talked about. And in fact, it kind of did rub me off the wrong way a little bit, but I didn't really give much thought to it. Now, there's a reason to that, right? Earlier on, when Pulse Chain was announced, one of RichardHeart's developers, Kyle, who helped with building Hex, had a discussion, a talk / debate with Eric Wall. That was about, I think, almost, if I'm not wrong, anywhere between 3 and 6 hours long. And in that interview, he was asked, how will Pulse Chain work with no block reward for validators? And the developer was like, honestly, I don't know. Right? And we thought at the time that transaction fees would be enough. And I thought about this deeply, and yeah, it seemed a little bit difficult. How would validators earn money? And I thought that maybe since RichardHeart would have like 90% of the supply of coins, maybe he would take on the job of validating. But then that would also affect decentralization. So the question was really one of those questions that there was no clear answer to at that time. Now, I did think to myself that I think at the time, I think the founder of Hedron already had started buying machinery. So I did think that, yeah, there are some people in the space who are willing to be validators for little or for very little reward. And I thought that that would work. And another concept was this, right? I thought that BNB has no block reward. So I thought that it could possibly work. But this was really a hard question that was not really fully answered at the time. And now what has happened, what has changed so far is the fact that we are forking Ethereum 2.0. And every change that is done, as it appears to me looking from outside, every single change that they're doing affects other things, which delays the launch of Pulse Chain. We've seen this happen again and again and again and again, right? That, for example, the problem we've just had right now about the block reward, right? There was supposed to be 0.3% inflation. They say, okay, well, this is too small. Now we're 4.5% in inflation, and so all of this stuff affects other things. So those are some of the problems that come with this stuff. So yes, the narrative of deflation, I think I made several videos talking about how the tokenomics were great because no extra pulse was going to be minted. But I do understand that this is a problem that it wasn't completely new to me because I had heard about it before in a discussion. And in that discussion, the Pulse Chain, one of the Hex developers, who I assume is possibly a Pulse Chain developer as well, actually had no answer to that question, that how will validators get rewarded if the coin does not have any inflation. Right? Because that's an element of centralization. It presents an element of centralization, which for the most part, you might not want to have a centralized coin or a centralized ecosystem. And that matters a lot, especially right now, because we see what's happening with regulators. Regulators are going after projects that are not completely decentralized. And anywhere where there's admin key or things like that, I think that they're going to use that to attack. Right? We see they're going after even some DeFi players. So if there's an element of centralization, it's not good for the long-term health of the project. I would have liked it to be deflationary. The tokenomics have kind of changed in that regard. But look, I don't know if this is a good enough response for you, but I do think that it is what it is, and we're going to be moving forward. Regardless, I do think that the price will still perform well of Pulse, and I think that PLSX is still deflationary, so that's good news too. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching, and obviously, as usual, not financial advice. Make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you again next time.